Bay Packers just got some great news ahead of their next preseason game versus Denver Sunday night. Looking forward to that game. What is that great news? Some of you might be saying, hey, what type of great news could we be getting? It's preseason after all. Well, because Brian Gutekunst is drafted so incredibly well, we've got so many close, great positional battles, both on offense and defense. And some of those are with our rookies that have yet to make their preseason debuts. Well, that is going to be coming to an end for Katan Oladapo. Katan Oladapo, one of those guys in a crowded safety room that can make his presence known. This dude is obviously showed his athleticism out of Oregon State against the run and when he is blitzing. So this is going to be a guy that's going to excel in a Jeff Hafley type defensive scheme. So I'm super excited to see Katan Oladapo out there because I think this is one of those guys that can surprise you at some point in the year and just really excel and come out of nowhere and be like, oh my gosh, this dude looks brilliant at times. Really hoping that's going to be the case with Katan Oladapo, our 5th round pick out of Oregon State. Obviously, another guy making his preseason debut. Another guy that I'm super excited about seeing out there is Tyron Hopper. Hopper, of course, out of Missouri, shows the same type of skill set. Our 3rd round pick as far as stopping the run and blitzing. Again, going to excel in a Jeff Hafley type of system there. Unfortunately, Edgerrin Cooper is going to still be out for the Packers, so we're yet to see this guy out there on the football field to see what this guy can do. But in a linebacker room where we needed a lot of help and a lot of depth there, I feel like we've got that depth. And Tyron Hopper is one of those guys. He might not be quite ready yet, like an Edgerrin Cooper, but I know he's going to be, especially come a few games into the season, especially midway through the season. Hopper is one of those guys that I feel could make an absolute impact on this Packer defense. Another dude, when we start talking about defensively, who can make an impact out there, Kalen King. This is going to be a super exciting dude to watch for the Packers this upcoming week, this upcoming game against Denver. Kalen King already showed his instincts out there. He's trying to make the 53-man roster again in a crowded defensive back room. Kalen King, I feel, is one of those guys that can do it. Again, I think Corey Ballantyne has already showed what he can do, but Kalen King is one of those guys that is something special given his instincts. So I would love to see him make the 53-man roster over Corey Ballantyne, but of course he's got to show something special this upcoming game versus Denver. Another guy making his preseason debut for the Packers, which is great news, is Donovan Jennings. I've already talked about what I feel about our offensive line. I think this is a very not a deep offensive line. We've got great starters, but when it comes to backups for the Packers, I think especially at the tackle position, we are lacking sorely. Donovan Jennings is a guard, and he's going to be competing for the 53-man roster. Going to be super excited to see him out there as well, because I think this is a guy that could make the 53-man roster. Jordan Morgan, we don't know if he's going to be making his his rookie debut preseason or not. But this is going to be a battle between Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan at the right guard position. But Jacob Monk is one of those guys that's sneaky. He's coming out of nowhere. He can play center. He can play right guard, as he showed us. But Sean Ryan, Jordan Morgan, Jacob Monk, and then you've got, of course, Donovan Jennings, if this dude can play. But we're all talking about guards here. We need some backup tackles for the Packers. Whether or not that is going to be a David Bakhtiari, you start hearing about whether the Packers should go and get David Bakhtiari because he's still available out there. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think about David Bakhtiari joining the Packers again. This is a guy that is not going to be settling for a backup position as a tackle for the Packers. He's going to be a starter. Of course, he said he wants to be a starter wherever he goes. But the Packers, I feel, have got their guy in Rasheed Walker. I think Rasheed Walker is fantastically talented at the left tackle position, and I think he's going to really showcase that for the Packers and for the rest of the NFL this year. So I don't want to stifle the growth of Rasheed Walker. So we do need some backup depth at tackle. It's just obviously not going to be David Bakhtiari, in my opinion. Obviously, another fun battle to watch for the Packers is going to be the kickers, Anders Carlson, as well as Greg Joseph. I don't know about you guys, but anytime Anders Carlson is out there kicking the ball, my anxiety just kind of goes through the roof because I'm like, this dude has got the worst slice in golf ever, right? He looks like a bad sliced golfer because it always looks like the ball is going to just hit the uprights and it somehow goes in barely. Whereas with Greg Joseph, you get that little bit more consistency. You know what you're getting with it down, down the center. So that is, if I were giving a starting nod to anybody of these kickers, they're both hovering around 85% accuracy so far. I don't think the Packers are in love with either of them. Hence why it's still becoming a battle for the Packers as to who's going to get that nod. But I think Greg Joseph really needs to get that nod over Anders Carlson. So a lot of fun matchups to watch out there. I really wish we could be throwing in a Marshawn Lloyd in this video, but Marshawn Lloyd, of course, still out with the hamstring injury, but would love to see that battle because AJ Dillon just did not show the stuff. Is he going to show it this week at Denver or not? Emmanuel Wilson continues to bring it. And I think he's going to continue to bring it versus the Broncos as well. But leave your comments. Let me know your guys' thoughts. And as always, go Pack Go.